It's so funny. I just realized that I was going live. It's 444. And when I tell y'all that number has been following me all day, 444 and 4444 and 8444. I'm just like, why does this number keep following me? What the hell is going on? I mean, on license plates, clocks, stores. It's interesting. Anyway, it's hard to not take notice of that when that happens. Anyway, guys, welcome to the channel. If you're not subscribed to All Baddies Got a Story, please subscribe, share, and like so other people can see the videos. Also, check out my other featured channels on this page, like my artistry page at That Girl Shanda, where I do some of my original spoken word, original compositions, and original songs that I write. And I sing the songs and the videos, and all spoken word is narrated by my voice, and all the music in the background of the spoken word is music that is composed by me. I also have some of my separate instrumentals on there too, so check it out. I also have a podcast. Link is in the profile. Check it out. Subscribe to the pod. I have a few episodes in my podcast playlist folder. Check it out. Really check it out, y'all. It's good stuff. Subscribe. I also have other links on this channel too, that lead to just other social media sites with other content that I have created. I recently shared on my community tab a song that I created for my Honey Child's Candles Instagram. It was a while ago too, and I just ran across it. I forgot I had created it, so I decided to share it on my community tab so that y'all can see it too. It's festive. I mean, it's it's a Christmas song, so I just thought it would be festive for the holidays. But anyway, it's on my community tab if you're interested in checking it out. But y'all, okay, so I came on here because I have the urge to talk about trans people, right? And why do I have the urge to talk about trans people? I have the urge to talk about trans people because I keep running into trans people, okay? Mostly trans, oh shit, I don't want to mess it up. Trans women, like men that become women. That's who I've been running into lately, trans women, right? And the reason why I came on here to talk about it is because I feel like there is an interesting story. I feel like there is an interesting story there, y'all. And I have had in-depth conversations with both of these trans women, and their stories are always really sad and heartfelt, right? And my heart just goes out to them because it seems like they take a lot of abuse. Now, some people might not care for trans people. Some people might, have some type of hatred for trans people. But just from listening to their stories, y'all, I was like, yo, first of all, I understand why trans rights is very important, right? Because they really do go through a lot. Like, people take out their hatred on them. And what's interesting? This one trans woman, right? Literally like a week ago, she told me that men are attracted to her, right? And when they start, like when they get into, messing around sexually or whatever, she said they get really angry, right? Like they start just getting really angry out of nowhere. And sometimes they choke her. And she's like, and eventually it could lead to like rape or sexual assault. And I was like, well, damn, well, why are they getting angry when y'all are getting sexual? And she was like, I don't know. She was like, we talk for a minute and they seem like they're fine. And then as soon as we start messing around, then they get really angry and really aggressive. So, and she was like, and they just take it. And I was like, well, damn. And this happens a lot. And she was like, yeah, it happens a lot. And I was like, well, I'm wondering why they get so angry. And then she said, the reason she thinks that the men that she messes with get angry is because like they like her, but they hate the fact that they like her because she's trans. So when they start messing around, she said she feels that they get mad because they're mad at themselves. That's what my take from it is. Like they're angry with themselves, almost like they hate themselves because they're attracted to this trans person, but they don't want to be, but they are. And so it's almost like, now I'm going to take out my anger and hatred on you because that's how I feel about myself. It's real interesting, y'all. It's real interesting. And so the trans woman, I won't say her name. She has a beautiful voice, by the way. She sings really, really well. But the trans woman, she expressed to me that she was like, Shanda, like, I just want to be treated nice, and I just want to, be treated soft. She was like, I want a man, but I want a man to treat me like a lady. And I was like, well, newsflash, a lot of ladies are with heterosexual men, and a lot of the times, they can be aggressive with, like, biological women. They can be aggressive with those women too and treat those women bad too. I was like, so y'all not the only ones. Trans women not the only ones that get treated bad by masculines. Like, biological women can get treated bad by masculines too, So I was just sharing my story as a biological woman with her because, as to a trans woman. But yeah, so she said that's something that she experiences on a regular basis. So then another trans woman I met today, she was so on guard, but she was kind of venting to me about, I don't know why people like to talk to me. I don't know, y'all. Do I just have a face that look like that you could just tell me a story or something? I think maybe I do. Maybe I have the face where you just feel like, you know what, I can talk to you because they talk to me. And I don't ask nobody their business because it's none of my business. And I would never even think that these people had some of the problems that they had, right? But for some reason, people feel like they can talk to me, and that's fine. That's fine. But this other trans woman was talking to me today, and she was just like, she's like, well, how do you feel it is around here, right? Like around the parts where we're at. And I was like, it's all right. I was like, people, and whatever. And she was like, yeah, right. She was like, I get that too. And I'm like, well, what do you get? She was like, people stare at me and they make nasty looks at me. And I was like, well, that's normal to me. I was like, I get discriminated against. I get people that make nasty looks at me, people like you or they don't. And then she was like, no, but I know it's because I'm trans. I know it's because I'm trans. She was like, I got stabbed a few times. I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, she got stabbed a few times. Like somebody was trying to kill her. And then she said that, people were throwing bottles and things at her. I was like, well, damn. She said so much so that it made her go back to being a boy. And I said, well, why did you go back to being a boy? And she said, because I felt like if I were to portray my masculine side and not dress like a woman, she was like, I felt like maybe they would leave me alone. And I was like, and did people leave you alone? And she was like, yeah, nobody was staring at me weird. People left me alone. She was like, but it's just so hard being trans because, you're out here and then people, they just treat you really nasty. And I just had to explain to her, I'm like, you're not the only one, that gets treated nasty. I mean, trans people are not the only people that get treated nasty. A lot of people get treated nasty. You know what I mean? So I wanted to let her know that it wasn't just her, but I do understand where she's coming from in regards to, her sexuality and how it's viewed, especially, and this area is kind of conservative where we are. So people are definitely going to treat, but then again, you know what? Like, I don't know. I guess it just depends on the person because I've seen people, genuinely treat trans people around here nice. And then I've also seen people treat them not nice. So I guess it's just the person. It's just a person. So if you're trans and you're out there and you feel like your whole world is falling apart because you feel like people are picking on you because you're trans, people will pick on you because you're beautiful. People will pick on you because you're ugly. People will pick on you because you're smart. People will pick on you because you know what I mean? I mean, people will pick on you. It don't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. So you just have to make sure that you love yourself enough to know that it doesn't matter what other people think. And you also have to love yourself enough to know that, you define who you are, not somebody else. But they really, it seems like they're really depressed. And another thing is I noticed that a lot of them take like a lot of medications, like a lot of pills. And it's almost as if they feel like they need to take the medication in order to cope with life or whatever, or how they're being treated, basically. Trans women I'm talking about. Like one in, particular, she takes a lot of medications. And I was like, you take all that? And she was like, yeah, I'm like, wow. So it's I think it's like a mental thing or whatever, but it'll be all right. And it's interesting because I wanted to also ask the question, like, if there's any trans people in this room, or if you have any trans friends or anything like that, but specifically if there are any trans people in the room, I had a question. I have a lot of questions actually. So just from talking to those two trans women, questions just started popping up in my head, right? And I'm like, damn, and of course it pops up after they walk away, right? So I was like, okay, well, I'll just come on live and I'll ask my questions, because I know I had a trans person in my chat room the other day, but I didn't have the questions that I have now. So now I want my questions answered. Okay, so what makes a person, like what makes a man feel like he's a woman, and what makes a woman feel like she's a man? Like, is it a conditioning thing? A lot of people think that when men dress like women and like are really feminine and flamboyant, a lot of people, I'm just saying, a lot of people have said to me that they feel like the man grew up in like a household of women, or, there weren't any men around for them to mimic or mirror, right? Or, yeah, basically that's what it is. That's basically what I'm told, or yeah. But then there are stories where there are a two-parent household, a man and a woman, and the kid can still end up, expressing that they're trans. I don't know. I want to know if it's a conditioning. And then on a spiritual side of it, I was told that, oh, well, this person might have been a woman in their past life. And maybe when they came back in this life, they came back as a man, but they still felt like a woman. And so, they are who they are, and they can't help that they came back as a man, because they really are a woman. Like, that's just on the spiritual side of things. So I've heard that too. You know what I mean? But I also know, y'all, that all of us embody masculine and feminine energies. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we can be more in our masculine energy, and sometimes we can be more in our feminine energy, and sometimes we can just be well balanced. I consider myself like a well balanced individual in regards to, I know how to control both sides, is what I'm saying. I understand when I need to be in my masculine feminine energy, masculine energy, and I understand when I should be in my feminine energy, is what I'm saying. So I think I'm naturally in my feminine energy because I'm a feminine. You know what I mean? But I also, execute the masculine side as well. And I would probably say I execute the masculine side way more than I feel I should have to, but I feel like I have to because I have no choice. A lot of women are more in their masculine energy because we feel like we have no choice. Like, if women feel like they have to be their own protector, if they feel like they have to be their own provider, if they feel like they have to fight for everything, if they feel like they're, you know what I'm saying, right? So it's like some women feel like they have to be more in their masculine energy, because if they don't, then people will just walk all over them, and there are some females who are just like strictly in their feminine energy. Like, they don't, and a lot of times the women that are strictly in their feminine energies are usually the women that have men take care of them. I'm just saying, it's, and so when it comes to men, when men are more in their feminine energy, I think that's what makes them flamboyant, or what some people call flamboyant. Like how they, they can walk like a woman, they can dress like a woman, they can their tone can be that of a woman, and you know what I mean? Because there are masculine men who are gay men, and a lot of times you wouldn't know because they're so masculine. It's like excuse me, y'all, oh my God. Some people think that if you're a really masculine man, that there's no way that you can be gay. And that's bullshit. There are a lot of masculine men that are gay, and people just don't know because they carry themselves very masculine. But a lot of times those masculine men are the ones that like the flamboyant men. You know what I mean? Because they're masculine. So then there has to be a balance there. There have to be a balance of energies. That's why a lot of times you will see a masculine man with a flamboyant man, right? Sometimes you see two like bodybuilding dudes together, and you think like, oh, those are two really masculine men, right? But you'd be surprised. One of them is actually very, very feminine, and you won't know until you actually talk to them and get to know them and stuff like that, right? So it's interesting. It's interesting to me. I really, really want to know what makes a man feel like he's a woman, and what makes a woman feel like she's a man, But I also know on the scientific level of it, I also know from experience that there was a female that went to the doctor, and she got like blood drawn and, tests done on her. And the doctor called her, right? And asked her, were you ever a man? Did you transition from a woman to a man? Are you trans? Like that, right? And then she told the doctor, no, I'm female. And she's like, and the doctor was like, are you sure you were born female? She was like, yes, I'm sure I was born female, right? And then she asked the doctor, well, why are you asking me this? And the doctor said, because, I ran tests on you and you have more testosterone than estrogen. And she said, what? And the doctor said, you have more testosterone than estrogen, more testosterone levels. And so I just automatically thought that you were trans, that you were a man that became a woman. She was like, no, I was born a female. And she was like, wow, that's fascinating. The doctor said, that's fascinating. So of course, doctors and their scientific minds and stuff that makes them want to delve deeper and look deeper into stuff, right? Because that is fascinating. You were born a female, but you have more testosterone levels than estrogen levels. And then she said, well, I guess that explains why I grow hair on my chest, or I grow hair in places that people wouldn't think women would grow hair, right? Because she has hairy women in her family, like hairy women, like with mustaches and but they were born female, but they have like mustaches and beards and shit, and they got to shave it. Because if they don't, then a person will think that they're a man, even though they were born women. So do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? So there's like a play on DNA. Word is bond. There's a play on DNA. That kind of rhymes, don't it? There's a play on DNA. So it's almost like, can you really fault a trans person for living in their truth if their DNA is the makeup of how they're representing themselves, right? So if this woman, the doctor literally told her, and I'm witness to it, y'all, I was there, okay? I was there. The doctor literally told her, you have more testosterone levels than estrogen levels. And you were born a female? Yes, I was. She said, yes, I was born a female. She said, I don't understand how you have more testosterone levels. But she also, like I said, have hair in places that women wouldn't normally have hair. And she has very hairy women in her family that were born women. So if those women who have like mustaches and beards and things like that, but they were born an actual woman, if they decided to be trans and be a full-on man, can you really blame them for it? You know what I'm saying? Because it'd be almost like they're living in their truth. It's like if they have more testosterone levels and estrogen levels and they growing beards and mustaches and shit and chest hair, but they were born a female, but they feel like they a damn man, can you blame them? That's what I'm saying. We got to stop being prejudiced, like discriminating like that, y'all. If you born that way, it's not your fault. I was born this way. Wait a minute. Was born this way. Not me, y'all. Not me. I'm not talking about me. I was born a woman, okay? A woman. I'm all woman. But just in having these conversations with these trans women, all of this stuff, like, and then I spoke to one not too long ago, maybe about an hour, maybe 2 hours ago. And, she was upset. And she's like, oh, I just, I'm tired of going through this. I'm tired of people treat me like this, And I'm trying to tell her, people treat people nasty anyway. It doesn't matter if you're trans. It doesn't matter if you're, gay or whatever. People, you could be beautiful and be treated like shit. You could be intelligent and be hated and treated like shit because you're intelligent. It doesn't matter. So I was trying to give her words of encouragement is what I'm saying. But can you really blame a person for living loud in their truth because of their DNA makeup? I don't think you can. And I think more people need to understand that and realize that and not be as judgmental because in doing that, you're hurting people. And then those hurt people are going to end up hurting themselves or hurting other people. And I have a good example when I talk about that, where they're going to end up hurting people or hurting themselves, right? So before I came on live, I was already going to come on live with this topic, right? Talking about this whole trans thing because of the trans women that I have just been meeting for some reason, right? But before I came on here, I saw a video on YouTube of this woman telling her truth. And what she was saying is she's had 4 kids by one man. She said she was in a committed relationship with him. She didn't plan on leaving him. She planned on staying together and all that, right? She said, but her man cheated on her with a trans person, right? A trans woman, and ended up contacting HIV. And then when her man had sex with her, he passed the HIV to her. And she was pregnant with their 4th child at that time, right? So she said she found out that she was HIV positive around Thanksgiving because, you know, she had to go for her checkups and stuff because she was pregnant. And she said at first, the doctors made her aware that she had an STD, like, oh, you got an STD. And she's like, what? So then that's how she realized that the father of her children gave her an STD, right? During a checkup, a regular checkup because she was pregnant. So then they took more tests on her. And that's when they found out that she was HIV positive. And the father of her children gave her HIV. She said that's how she found out the father of her children was cheating on her and sleeping around, but specifically with trans women. And so, and that's what I mean about, you know, you can hurt yourself, you can hurt other people. He is secretly attracted to trans women, and he hurt the mother of his 4 children. And she said that, you know, she's like, I wholeheartedly loved him. She said she still loved him. And she never thought that he would have not protected her and not protected their kids. You know what I'm saying? She said she never would have imagined in a million years that he wouldn't have protected them. But he didn't. He didn't. You know what I mean? And so now she has HIV. And she was on the video crying and everything. And my heart just went out to her. And she said, you know, she hid it for a long time. She said she hid it for a little over a year because she said she didn't want people to look at her in a different way or judge her, you know, or you know, look at her like she's nasty or anything like that, when clearly it wasn't her fault, right? And so now she's speaking loud and proud. She's like, you know, about her truth. She says she loves herself, and that's not going to change anything. She said she tested the waters with a couple of guys that liked her, like in a sexual way, just to see how they would react towards her. And she said, surprisingly, they didn't act any different towards her. They were really, really nice to her, and they told her that they understood her plight. And she also said that they encouraged her, like, you know, you can still have a healthy life with HIV, you know, as long as you take your meds, you know, you can still have a healthy life and all this stuff. She said it got to the point, though, that she was still messing around with the father of her children sexually, because she said she felt like no other man was ever going to want her, you know, because she has HIV. So she said she almost felt like she had to just be bound to him. Because, you know, he understands her truth because it's his truth, which is understandable, right? And so, you know, I thought that was interesting. And you know, it's a lot of stigma in the LGBTQ community about like STDs, about HIV and AIDS, right? And I'm starting to think that maybe it's so prevalent in the gay community or whatever because, or allegedly it's prevalent in the gay community. I'm starting to really think that it is because the partners don't stay monogamous. You know what I mean? Kind of like how the one trans woman told me how, you know, she'll talk to guys, you know, they'll get along great, but then when it comes down to the sex, they just get real overly aggressive and angry, and they start choking her, and, you know, and they just take it, you know, like assault her. You know what I mean? And so who's to say that they don't do that with other trans women, you know, and maybe they don't wear protection. And I don't know, y'all, it's kind of deep. It's kind of deep. But, you know, it was on my mind to talk about it because I'm like, why do I keep running into these trans people? And why they keep telling me their story? Why do they keep telling me their story? Let me see what y'all talking about in the comments. Hi, y'all. Do I play sports? No, but I used to be a cheerleader and I used to run track. Hi from Brazil. I'm a beautiful woman. Thank you very much. Some women get more hormones than others. Yeah, but who knew, right? Who knew? And that's what I'm saying. Like, can you really blame a woman or a man for like being trans because they're living in their truth with regards to the makeup of their DNA? Can you really blame them? You know? Hi, PGZ. How are you? Welcome. I'm right. People are very mean. Yeah, people can be very mean, but it doesn't matter if you're, trans, bi, gay, like I said, people will find a way to be mean to you for whatever reason. I don't think sexual orientation matters as much. God say we should love each other. We all going to die the same way. God loves us all. Long as you believe and pray, God will forgive all of us. Okay. I mean, and honestly, we live in a very sinful world. You know what I mean? We live in a sinful world. There's nothing perfect about this world. And there's nobody here that is perfect. And I think that all we can do is, try to be the best versions of ourselves as possible, which means to continuously evolve and hopefully evolve, in a good way, where we're not hurting ourselves and we're not hurting others. But it's just crazy how like the trans topic is really still a hot topic in regards to how people are still really violent with them. But I guess that's anybody, because there's a lot of violence out here with men killing their baby mothers or their wives or their soon-to-be ex-wives, and it's usually due to a breakup. I recently saw a video, or saw in the news, I think it was ABC News, this 17-year-old girl, she lived not too far from here where I am, in Azusa, a 17-year-old girl, I believe she's Hispanic. Her 18-year-old boyfriend violently killed her. Just violently killed her. 17-year-old girl, cheerleader, just joined the wrestling team. All her family and everybody was coming out talking about how she, was like the light and love, and everyone loved her and all this stuff. And her 18-year-old, I don't know if he was her current spouse or if he was an ex-spouse. He might have been an ex-spouse, but he violently murdered her. You know what I mean? So honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're trans, if you're bi, if you're gay, if you're straight. It does not matter. These things happen, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So I don't, when people speak about, trans rights and gay rights and this right, maybe we should just say human rights. Just put it all in one, just human rights, just straight human rights that should be allotted for all humans, period. Because it doesn't matter what labels people put on us. A lot of us still go through the same things. You know what I mean? So, and it seems like the more labels that are out there, the more individual laws we have to have in order to treat everything. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a lot of damn labels. Just human rights. Just human rights. There shouldn't be an individual bill that says, do not kill trans people, or do not, you know what I'm saying, right? It should just be an individual bill that say, do not kill people. People, period. Why we gotta separate everybody? That's why we gotta separate everybody. Well, with trans rights, it should just be human rights, because they're fighting for what a lot of us are fighting for. What are you saying? Man or woman are not perfect. Only God. We make mistakes. Absolutely. I'm just saying, like, how they, divide up everything. It should just be human rights. In regards to, I'll give a really good example. Some people are still saying, there are no hate crime laws for Black people, right? There are no hate crime laws for Black people, right? When it should just be hate crime law for people. Just people, right? All people. No hate crimes against anybody. Why we got to have the label? Like, why do we have to divide it up? Why is it being divided up? We need some hate crime laws against Black people so the people stop messing with Black people. First of all, I don't identify as Black. A person looking at me would say, that's a Black woman, right? I don't identify as Black. I identify as what my ethnicity is. My dad's side is Hawaiian Indian, Mayan Indian. My mother's side is Cherokee Indian. I am American Indian, West Indian. I don't identify as Black. Not to mention, Black is not a race. And it's not an ethnicity. It's a color. The color of a crayon, actually, is what it is. When you look at me, do I look like the color of the color black? No. A person would probably describe me as caramel or copper colored, right? I don't know, cinnamon. I don't know if you would describe me as cinnamon. Some people call me brown sugar. But yeah, caramel complexion, copper color, you know what I'm saying? But I don't look like the color of a black crayon. I don't. And so even calling a West Indian African American is disrespectful to a certain extent, because it's like it's almost like you're putting the African label on there. It's like, if you are West Indian and all of your people come from America, why are you trying to put African in front of American? Now, people who really are from Africa, okay, I understand that. Kind of like Elon Musk. Ironically, Elon Musk said he was born in South Africa. So then that would make him South African. And he came to America. So that would make him African American. Okay? And Elon Musk is what some people would call white. But we shouldn't call Elon Musk white, right? Because I'm pretty sure he has his ethnicity, his background. He has his background. If you're from Ireland, you're Irish. If you're from Norway, you're Norwegian. If you're from Italy, you're Italian. If you're from China, you're Chinese. If you're from Japan, you're Japanese. If you're from Australia, you're Australian. You know what I mean. If you're from Africa, you're African. How do you tell a melanated person like me, you're black and you're from... Where's the country black? I've never heard of a country black. I've heard of America. I've heard of American Indians. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't identify as black. People may call me black. I don't identify as black. So I will have you know I am perfect, Robert. PGZ said he is perfect. Okay. I checked out where you're from, PGZ. It's beautiful. You have beautiful mountains and lakes, and well, I knew it was going to be green anyway, like, because I saw pictures of over there. So I knew it was going to be green with green hills and all that I expected, but it's beautiful where you're from. Like, absolutely beautiful. You should not judge anyone. No. Cop a lot of money, and caramel is as sweet as can be. Aww. It's quite beautiful, all right. It is. I love looking at the picture. I think I'll look at some more. I'm gonna do some more research. But yeah, so, but I agree with you, Robert Lewis. Yes, we definitely like, what's the point? You know, like, it's making me want to talk to Donald Trump. This whole conversation is making me want to talk to Donald Trump in regards to changing some things, because he's already like on a rampage with changing things. Donald Trump is trying to attach Canada and Mexico, and he's trying to, you know, make America even bigger. Well, I guess reconnect America. That's basically what he's aiming to do. But I want to talk to him about just calling certain things, like how they separate the races and rights this and Chinese rights, and just calling it human rights. Just calling it human rights, people's rights. Just, I don't know. I don't think we need all the labels. I think all the labels is what makes everything so divided, and it emboldens people to be divisive when we don't have to be, and we shouldn't be. You know, we should just love each other and love ourselves. You know, we came a long way, especially in America, with regards to interracial relationships, because there was a time when it was restricted in America. People from different races could not marry, you know, even though they fell in love, and they had to be in love behind the scenes. American Indians had to be in love behind the scenes with an Italian or a Norwegian or a German, or do you know what I'm saying, right? And so it's like Bob Marley. Y'all know the singer Bob Marley? Bob Marley's dad is German and his mother is Jamaican. Now, some people would say, oh, she's black. No, she's Jamaican. That's where she's from, Jamaica. She's Jamaican. She's just West Indian, like me, right? But Bob Marley's dad was German, and they came together and they made Bob Marley, all right? One love. Let's get together and feel all right. Yeah. But they probably had to keep their love and their affair behind the scenes, because back then it wasn't accepted. Now it's accepted. It's accepted way more now than it ever was, right? So it's just interesting. It's interesting, y'all. Life is interesting. Life is beautiful. People make life difficult. People put obstacles in your way, you know, man-made obstacles, but it is what it is. It's chilly out here, y'all. No woman, no cry. It spoke a lot of sense. Yeah. I love Bob Marley. It's crazy because my dad used to play Bob Marley when I was little, and I never really understood it because he didn't explain what he was talking about. He would just play it and sing it. And then when I got older, I decided to just buy a Bob Marley CD because I remember my dad listening to it, and I actually paid attention to the words, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then as I researched him, that's when I realized he had a German dad and a Jamaican mom, and, you know, and he was trying to unite the races because it was so much rage about it, you know, interracial relationships and stuff. And he was just trying to unite it. I guess he said, hey, I came from a German man and a Jamaican mom, and I just want us to love each other. But they didn't like that. They didn't like that. And so as a result, Bob Marley is no more. But in spirit, he is. And his music is still alive and very well. And played like he's an artist right now today. So it's interesting. But anywho, I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. I don't know in Ireland if it's Christmas tomorrow. I'm pretty sure, you know, I don't even know what time it is over there. In Ireland, it's probably like early morning or something. Here it's 5:22 p.m. And so it gets darker, it starts getting dark around 5. But tomorrow is officially Christmas in America. So it is Xmas as we speak, 1:22 in the morning. Wow. Oh my God, why are you up so late? Are you normally up this late? Oh, same to you. Happy Christmas to you too. Okay. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day with your families and, you know, drink, eat, and be merry and all that good stuff that happens on Christmas. I'm not really sure. I'll be working, so I'll be working tomorrow. But I get time and a half, so it's okay. It's okay. Maybe it'll probably be really dead tomorrow because it's Christmas, but let me not jinx myself because I could really be surprised. It could be a very busy day at work tomorrow. I'm just expecting it to not be so busy because of the holiday. You're on holidays from work, so staying up late these days? Yeah, why not? Stay up late, hang out with the fam, hang out with friends, have good food, have good cocktails. Why not? But I have to work mañana. So I will probably come on, more than likely I'll come on live tomorrow, especially if it's not like too busy at work, then I'll have time to come on live. So I'll come on tomorrow and wish everybody a happy Christmas and all that good stuff. Yeah, we're open on Christmas. You said everything is shut down. I mean, a lot of places are usually shut down, but the type of business that I'm in, it's a motel. And so people are always renting rooms, you know. Motels don't close, you know. That's something that's open all the time. Motels just don't close because there's always going to be somebody that wants to rent a room or something, you know. And then people usually will rent a room during the holidays or, you know, Valentine's Day, stuff like that. So, yeah, we're open. We're open and renting rooms. Yes, we are. So, but anywho, I will see you all mañana if you're going to be on YouTube tomorrow. Really? I don't know why. So you didn't get a notification that I was on live. That's interesting. Well, I don't know. Maybe you have to like hit it again, like hit the button. I don't know. Subscribe, unsubscribe, hit the notification bell. I don't know. I don't know what the deal with that is, but I will look into it. I'll put a note on my community tab letting people know just to double check their notification bells and stuff to make sure that they get alerted. I'm sorry about that, but I'm glad you caught me. I'm glad you caught me. And so, yeah, I'm going to get off because it's getting dark and it is chilly. It's chilly this evening. And I'm kind of hungry, so I need to eat something. But thanks for listening, y'all. I appreciate you being here. Oh my God, I'm getting off before an hour. I cannot believe it. Usually my lives go like for an hour and like an hour and a half lately anyway, but so I'm going to get off and I will see you all mañana. Have a wonderful evening. Eat, drink, and be merry and all that good stuff. Subscribe to All Baddies Got a Story if you're not subscribed to the channel. Share and like the video so other people get to see it. And also check out my other featured channels on this page, like my artistry page at That Girl Shanda, as well as my podcast, which the link is in the profile. I need to put an email address, like a distinct email address in my profile because people keep asking about reaching out to me. And I keep thinking that it's easy to do it, but apparently it's not or something. I don't know. So I'm going to put a distinct email address in my profile and probably on the community tab so that you guys know, you guys can contact me directly through that email address because I do check my email or whatever. I'll figure it out. Have a lovely evening and happy Xmas. See you tomorrow, I guess. Yes, you will see me tomorrow if you're on, unless you're busy with the fam and everything, which is understandable, but you will. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye.